Welcome back to the Racing Addicts podcast. We're here in studio, the biased studios of Alex Beitzel.
The home of the bias.
The home of the biased.
Home of the bias. Yes.
So, wow.
What the frick did we just watch?
I have no idea.
Should we first welcome our Florida co-host?
Our affiliate.
Affiliate in the weeds, as it's were.
I am not in the I'm in the Florida virtual studio. I am not in person.
Do you, now that you're a Florida man, what do you plan on doing to earn that status?
Well, there's an alligator out back, and I'm thinking about making it my pet. It's kind of cute.
I like it.
I watched a video.
That's my first thought.
I watched a video.
I support it.
This couple like working out in Florida. They're like running, and there was this huge alligator like in the path, and they're like, "What do we do?" And they walked past it like 2 feet from it. I was like, "These Florida people are nuts."
I know. Like,
If
it's a whole other
You get
level.
a baby alligator, I'm like, "No, I'm going to turn around."
Well, is it any surprise that Ross Chastain is a Floridian? I'm just saying.
No, absolutely not.
Actually, speaking of Ross Chastain, I think it's time to update the day since last Wreck-It Ross incident.
Yeah,
board.
I think we got
that's true.
Yeah, we got to update the board. We got to update the board now.
Make it say Blaney's a little.
And while
bleep it.
and while David's updating the board, we will mention that the front stretch asked Senor Blaney his opinions on Ross Chastain, and he said, "I'm not doing any more Ross Chastain questions from you," which I do
He's
like.
getting in his
actually.
head.
No,
He's getting in his head.
I think he's just keeping it
0
down.
plus 12 equals 1.
I think it makes sense.
I think it does.
I think
I was good
That's
at
racing
arithmetic.
fan math.
so.
Yeah.
Today's
so 0 tire wear to 12.
yeah, that's. We went from the hardest tire that Goodyear's ever manufactured to one that likely is made of paper mache. Like no
I
in
was going
between.
to say way the wrong thing, I think, but
rubber.
yeah, rubber.
Yeah. No, listen. The message is received. I know exactly where you were going.
Yeah, I mean, that was a. So I didn't think I was going to be able to watch the race because we had such a busy weekend, and then I was checking on the group chat, and I saw the words tire wear, and I was like, "Oh my god,
What is tire wear? This is new.
So I got my phone out, started watching the race, and it was like, wow. I mean, it was 5 cars in the lead lap. I honestly cannot believe that there were no cautions in that last stretch of the race.
I legitimately don't know how, because like they were literally driving on blown tires.
Literally.
Like when cars were coming in after 10 laps of running at 45 miles an hour, they were taking off like obliterated tires all but on the rim. So I don't know how they made it that far. Like it was kind of cool. I will say in paying homage, whatever.
I'm not sure what you're saying.
I don't know.
I'm a
either.
race fan. I don't use that word.
In my payment to old school racing, I am supporting an old Mark Martin shirt, and I have my 2 Mark Martin Thunderbird diecast in the camera shot.
The best
yeah.
part
It just
of
felt
waking up.
it's Folgers in your cup. It felt appropriate for today. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, tire wear.
So like what did okay, we should all go around. What did we think of today's race? Because I feel like there's so much to like digest and just process from this.
I go first because I'm probably in the more approving side of it in the group. I think that if you go look at a race that they don't need to change tires and it's just follow the leader.
Right.
And then you go to this where you get 40 laps and
like you're done.
done.
Yeah.
I loved it. That was the best thing ever. I mean, there was cars dodging. Like, I think at one point there was like 7 cars going different speeds in one frame.
Right.
Like-
You're 100% right.
It was like insanity. I couldn't take my eyes off the TV because there was somebody loose somewhere, everywhere.
Yeah.
And I feel like if you're going to look for a quality race product where you have to, I'm not saying every week we need to burn the tires off it, but when you go to the short track and it's been follow the leader for how many years and, you know, we quit going
because it sucks.
Yeah. Like if you can tell me they're not going to change a dang thing, I'm going to the fall. I did not see a lot of used seats in this camera frames.
Is very fair.
Like even the aerials, like there were, like I don't think they were sold out. I don't think the camping was full.
Did you see? They had like 20 campers.
Yeah,
it was bad. But part of that's their schedule. That's a whole other thing we can get into. But I agree. Like Nolan, what are your immediate takeaways from the weekend?
It was definitely strange to me because I was expecting the fall race to happen again. Sorry for my video settings. I'm literally editing them in real time.
I just noticed you flipped because you're now backwards.
I'm not normal, like the way it's supposed to be, I think, right? Oh, no. Now, okay.
Now you're backwards.
You had me flipped and I put myself normal. Sorry.
Oh, that may have been... Sorry, we're using Facebook Messenger because Nolan doesn't use Apple products. And womp womp. Hashtag FaceTime for the win.
Apple people only know Facebook as like another thing. They don't use Discord. They don't use other applications because they don't get them.
I need to get a Zoom account. I know. I just haven't done it yet. Anyway, your thoughts on today's race?
I actually thought it was a downgrade from the fall race. I know that's insane. Oof. I want tire fall off. I know. I want tire fall off, but what I do want is I want the track to get rubbered. I don't want it to turn into Bristol dirt, but instead of it being clay or dirt, it's just marbles. I think there are things they could have done to improve it. I don't mind the tire wear though. So it's not that I'm upset about the tire wear. I'm not even mad at NASCAR that this happened because I don't think they knew this was going to happen. And I don't even blame them for not knowing that this was going to happen. I thought it was an interesting experiment going to the resin over the PJ1. I think we should definitely put this down at Martinsville. I think we should try and like replicate this result at Martinsville with tire fall off. And the same thing with a lot of the other short tracks too, like the All-Star race at North Wilkesboro. You want to see, that much fall off for an entertaining race so that you don't have that single file stuff from last year.
Give me Richmond too. As much as that product has sucked, I don't even care.
Yeah. Richmond's a good idea too.
You can literally do anything to Richmond and I'm game because I don't even care. Like
I'm not upset.
Yeah.
I don't think this is what we should aim for, but I'm not upset because I think we secretly accidentally discovered something that I think can work in NASCAR's favor and work in everyone's favor. I don't know. What did you guys think about like some of the drivers? Because a lot of the drivers didn't like it and then some of them did. But I thought it made for interesting racing. And I will just say this real quick. With anything that NASCAR is doing or any change that's going on in a race, like even like Daytona, I always say like, well, like in a case like that, that's not what we want, right? Like that fuel saving thing, but it made for interesting strategy. I'm not saying we shouldn't try to change it, but it made for an interesting result. And I thought that like the guys that were the best at managing tire wear from like earlier in their careers, literally, profited from this. And so to me, I thought that was cool. So I'm not upset. I thought it was a cool race, but I don't know that that's what we should go for every time. Not exactly, at least.
No. And I thought about it because I had time to process during the race. For sure, I would rather see this, I think, than what we had. Like this to me was better. And the shame is I have a feeling Goodyear's going to overcorrect after today. And that's the thing I'm a little bit afraid of because I love that they're trying things and I love that they are trying to make it softer and create a better product. Because overall, I thought it was good. The part that was kind of for me was I felt like there was moments that we had the Daytona 500 again. And that was the thing that I saw a lot of drivers commenting on because you intentionally were riding around for large sections of laps just so that like at the end of the stage you'd have a little bit left. And that's kind of a bummer. So to me, I think like we went from a hardness of like 12 to like a hardness of 1.5 in a matter of like 2 races. So I'm almost like if Goodyear can just maybe take a little bit from this, I think it was the right direction and maybe just knock it off a few. I think honestly we have like some pretty solid short track racing back. I don't know. Like I said, overall, I would take this, I think, over what we've had for sure. It's just for me, I felt like we entered the poop show realm just a little bit for me, and that's where I kind of was a little bit, I don't know, bummed. But
he's just upset because his driver got a penalty.
That had nothing to do with the tire. That was
Well, if their tires didn't fall off, you wouldn't have had to go to the pits.
No, that was all YRB, and they were still in really good shape after that. Unfortunately, he just then
he got wrecked by Ross.
No, he was, as much as I would love to blame Ross, and I think this is why Blaney blew off the front stretch reporter, because it had nothing to do with Ross. Like, that 12 car was dropping like a rock because he restarted 5th. When Ross ran into him, they were in like 14th or 13th. Mm-hmm. And then 2 laps later, Blaney was 24th. So, like, whatever adjustment they did on that 12 car sucked. So it was just, Ross just happened to be the guy that got into him.
Yeah, now that I have time to focus and think about this, looking back at it, it was very clear that, like, Blaney was he was like on the cords almost. It seemed like he was doing so bad, and Ross couldn't have backed up anymore, or otherwise he would have got hit in the rear in the middle of the corner.
Well, yeah, so, I mean, they were like, the 12 had them all stacked. Like, there was 6 cars shut. So it's like, I don't know. I had no beef with Ross. It was just, I think, what did I text the group? Magnet. I think that's all I wrote was magnet.
Yes, and I knew exactly what you're referring to. So for any of you returning listeners, you'll know that we talked about how, Ross has this magnetism about him, and Denny Hamlin was in his gravitational field, a year or two ago, 2 years in a row.
And now he went one number up.
Yeah, he's exactly right. So ever since the championship race, these two have seemed to find each other in every race, and there's always a little bit of drama. I don't think this is anything, but I do think it's funny just for that reason. I think it's hilarious.
I think it's great. Honestly, I saw them powwowing during pre-race, and I tried to grab a picture to send the group real quick, and I missed it because I was like, "Oh, this would just totally defuse like all the people trying to make this a thing." So.
Well, I don't think he's gonna Gregson punch him in the face, so I think we're clear for this week. Maybe next week, we'll see. I've seen Ross punt somebody at Circuit of the Americas. So maybe it's possible. In fact, actually, now that I think about it, there were 2 times in a row at Circuit of the Americas that Ross made somebody angry. I mean, if you guys remember turn 1 last year, it was like insane.
I remember made me angry. I remember that one.
Well, remember, I think it was him. I think it was Ross and Bowman were the 2 people that Suarez was really mad at, and then he ended up getting a penalty because he hit Bowman on pit road. But really, it was Ross's fault.
Because it wasn't even Bowman's fault; it was his teammate. Yeah.
Because the Bowman had got hit by the 1, and the 1 was just a wrecking ball. And anyway, it could happen.
A wrecking ball.
Yep, a melon-shaped wrecking ball.
Oh my gosh! Yes. Sorry, David. What did you want to talk? Sorry, I think we just kind of took over the podcast there for a minute. So. Nope, you're good. Oh, just going back to texting. Okay, we'll carry on.
No, so I just want to point out that you're complaining about them not burning the tires off.
I'm not.
Alex.
Oh, okay.
Also, I'd like to point out that it appears that in the time it takes Nolan's camera to refresh, the tires are wearing out.
Yeah,
I don't know what you did, but I think it made the frame count worse.
I feel like it might have been closer before.
I think it was
really.
Now
I didn't do anything.
You're moving like Pinocchio now.
Really? Let me turn off the webcam software and see if that helps.
By the time Nolan's camera gets to 30 frames, the tires are done.
Gone.
The tires are done. The first stage was entertaining as frick. You missed the fun one.
I missed the first stage.
Because that's when they didn't know the tires were this bad, and they're just driving like balls to the wall for like 5 laps.
I might go watch the beginning of that.
It was ridiculous. The first stage was
I was so
insane.
excited. That's another thing. We didn't know this was going to happen. We knew, because we watched qualifying, that there was something up with the track. We were like, what's going on here? Now, I didn't watch the truck race, and maybe there were more clues in that. And you guys can fill me in with that. Or you can, Alex, because I know you watched it, and I didn't.
Yeah, did anything happen in the truck race that would elude?
No. So this is what doesn't make any sense because they
are 2 different tires.
Right. And 4 more lugs. So they made a big deal, obviously, about the resin yesterday, and then it was truck practice, truck qualifying, cup practice, cup qualifying, and then like a little bit of a break, and then truck race. Qualifying, I think we were all kind of like on edge, like, oh my gosh, like the cars are hard to drive, like they're slipping, like We saw the 77 about bite it on the backstretch in qualifying, and it was like, oh my gosh, the cars are hard to drive again. Like, this is amazing. And the truck race was so good because they had straight up like 3 lines. So you didn't have that annoying, like you catch somebody and then you're stuck in the arrow. Like you could see, like it was honestly like watching a sprint car race because a guy would catch up to another guy running, like say the top, while the other guy was running the bottom. Well, once he'd get there, the guy would end up moving to the top lane to try to take the air away from the good lane. And then the second guy would have to make it work in the other 2 lanes. But like it put so much in the driver's hands. It was entertaining to watch. And that's why, like, I was legitimately excited going into today because I was like, ooh, all right, like once the resin wears a little bit, and then once we lay a little bit of rubber down on the top, like we're going to have like a 3-groove track.
Just some domestic abuse in
just
County.
Totally
okay.
fine. Not a big deal at all.
Hey, actually, it's actually a big note. There's actual cop in Duncannon.
I'm shocked. No, they're just passing through on their way to someone else.
Yeah.
But I thought the truck race was incredible, and it just I'm assuming it had to be a different compound because the weather wasn't that much different. Like I looked at the weather forecast, it was a little bit colder today, but not like drastic enough to. I mean, the tire did not lay rubber at all. The track looked identical as it did on lap 500 as it did lap 1, except there was a lot of marbles around the outside.
Are we talking about the cup race or are we talking about the truck race?
Well, I kind of parlayed one to the other, sorry, because the trucks laid a lot of rubber. And that's what
that was what my question was going to be. Yeah. That's why I was going to ask that because I was curious. I saw some things about how the truck race was getting like 2 and 3 lanes. And honestly, that's why right there. So like the fact that the cup cars didn't lay rubber to me is the problem. And yes, I love tire wear. I want to say that, but the fact that it didn't lay rubber like it did in the fall race last year, where you got that second groove after the first 150 laps into the the last couple stages. To me, I would rather see that than see guys literally driving on the cords. That reminds me a little too much of that Indy race back in like 2008, where like they kept popping front tires and it was actually dangerous. Now, obviously, it's not that dangerous at Bristol, but it was like it's insane. You had guys. You're going slow enough that you have guys that are like. It looked like they have broken toe links out there, but they can still keep it green. This is one of the most chaotic races I've ever seen in my entire life, where I was just like, "What is going on?" I was entertained. I thought it was still a good race in the sense that like you had the guys that handled it the best win, and to me, it's a legitimate thing. But I don't think that it's something we should aim for, and especially when I hear like the trucks had 3 lanes and they laid rubber. To me, that right there is a great thing I could point to is like, well, let's go for that. We want that to happen in Cup.
Yeah. And again, like I think that's why like I don't want to take anything away from Goodyear because I think the move that this tire made was good. Like really, really, really good. So I still enjoyed it. It's just like, I don't know, there was just that, like I said, there was that little piece for me. So
what did you guys think about the PR damage control they did right in the middle of the race? Like they were interviewing the Goodyear representative. I thought that was so funny.
I don't find it very believable that they changed nothing because he said at the beginning.
Yeah, I don't
like
buy
at
that
the beginning
for a
of the statement. He's like, they wanted us to make it. They wanted more tire wear,
right?
And then he said we didn't change the tire.
And here's what's frustrating is it's conflicting information because Jeff Gluck tweeted yesterday that the Goodyear representative said they brought the most aggressive compound they ever have. And then during the race, he said it's the same one we brought in 2023. So one of those statements is wrong. One of those statements is a lie.
Apparently aggressive is an understatement.
I mean, I don't buy for a second that this is the tire they ran last fall. And again, I'm not even saying it's a bad thing, but I'm kind of like, just own it and be like, hey, we went for the mark and we overshot a little bit. But yeah.
My only issue with this much fall off, because I was thinking mid race, well, they just maybe need more tires, and then going into the next race, if they know that this is going to happen, then the guys know what they're getting into, and it's fair.
They know it's going to be a 40-lap pit cycle.
Yeah,
and it would be fair, but the problem is it's a little too much like Daytona, where guys are just out there at 70% because they're trying not to. Well, Daytona is more like 30%, but you get my point. Yeah. Like there's such a conservation mode that like guys aren't even trying. I mean,
but
I will say this. Go ahead. What are you going to say? I feel like you're going to finish my point.
We'll say, but even though it's not everybody going 80%, it's the guys who want their tires later, and then there's the guys who want to use them now, like the 38. Who he's going up through the pack, and then he's falling back like this. So like it's not like there's nothing happening. My problem with Daytona is just follow the leader for 80% of the race.
Right, like Daytona was way
okay,
worse.
we're just going to go back to back. So it's not like everybody's on the same strategy still. Here we still have different strategies, and there's different outcomes. And it almost didn't really even seem like it almost was like, how much did you burn out leaving the pit? Because like a couple times there was a couple cars that just fell off after like 5 laps.
Oh yeah.
Like quick.
Yeah. Yep.
So either they used it all up, like I don't know, how do you use that much? Like I don't know if that's what it was, but I don't see where the downside is.
Yeah. I mean, like I said,
you said, it turned
I went
into
like
a poop
10% less. I went like 10-15% less than what we saw today. And then I'm like, that's ideal. But for me, this was still a good race. Like on the Jeff Gluck poll, 100% this was a Gen race.
Oh,
like,
I can't wait to see that.
Like I don't know how, especially after what we've seen at the short tracks with the Gen 7 car, like I think you have to click yes on this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Even though I said it wasn't my ideal product, like this was still a huge step forward.
Yeah, I would vote yes. I would vote yes. Yeah. Go ahead, David.
Well, I think, and I guess a downside, if I'm going to find a downside for me with this, is the way it went once it went green, because everybody was like, we're staying out to the very end. Like, I've never seen a pit cycle where everybody went literally until they had flat tires. Like, that is crazy. But like the 51, Justin Haley had an awesome day. I mean, he was top 10 the entire time, it felt like. So he didn't get any stage points.
He was legitimately top 15 all day.
Yeah, and he got 15th, or 17th. But had he not ran out of tire and got lapped like in 10 seconds, I think he would have still had a top 10.
Yeah, I mean he had a good shot.
So there's a downside to it, but you know, if he would have chose to pit earlier, I mean, I could not believe that Kyle Larson finished 5th.
I loved his interview that he said, like, I have no idea how.
Yeah, I have no idea how.
That's hilarious.
And the fact that Josh Berry still was, he got 12th. Like, because he pit early. He was kind of off schedule, you know? But I don't know. I think there was a lot of good there. I think you could really tell the experienced drivers, like,
for sure.
Obviously, with Hamlin, Truex, and Keselowski up front. Brad, let's shout out to the 6 all day. 50 points. 50 points, which is the most of any driver today.
That's good.
Hey, girl.
And I so thought he was in the perfect position because remember, we were seeing that tires were lasting 40 laps. Mm-hmm. And the 19 and the 11 pitted with a little over 50 to go. Yeah. And they were racing hard to get through lap traffic. And I saw the 6 dropping off a little bit. And I was like, he's going to save his stuff. The 19 and the 11 are going to burn it up. And with like 5 to go, the 6 is going to drive by him like they're sitting still. And in my heart, I was ready for it. I'm like, man, we're going to podcast tonight with David and celebrate a Brad Keselowski
I wasn't going to be here tonight. And then I thought, you know what?
Brad's going to win. We got to do this.
Brad's got a good game. Yeah.
And then Brad let us down. But still, top 3. Good day.
Good day.
Good
Happy.
Day.
50 points. And that also put him, it bumped his standings substantially. I think he's up to 13th. Yeah, 13th in points now. 60 behind.
Big jump.
Larson's up front in the 5 car.
12 is down to 4.
Tied with Martin Truex Jr. for first. Ty Gibbs. Holy crap. I think if we don't talk about him, we're going to miss an injustice to reporting the sport.
But we did get saved from a Ty Gibbs victory today.
I don't know. If you go like under the section, are we considered nonfiction or fiction?
Depends on the week.
Okay.
Yeah.
But Ty Gibbs, holy cow, what a second year. I mean, he got screwed there at the end with tires, but
he did it to himself.
He did it to himself, but
like he way overdrove the beginning of every run, and I kept seeing him do it, and I'm like, dude, like how are you not learning? And then 2/3 of the way through the run, he would drop like a rock, and I'm like, eventually he's gonna learn. Nope, just didn't. So
yeah. So, but
I think the biggest thing that we saw today, and this was one of the funniest moments for me in today's race, is your favorite driver getting hit by your most hated driver on pit road. And I legit laughed out loud. I'm sorry. It was so freaking funny.
Yeah,
I'm
he
like,
got 31st today. 31st, just in case, just for the tally. Maybe we should put.
So you're saying it was a good day for
I
Austin
should get a
Cindric.
sign and say, "Time Cindric's finished below 30th." How many races are we into? The 5? 5 times.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. What race of the season?
But actually, you know what? While we're talking about horrible performances and points, Zane Smith,
dude,
he is horrible.
Zane Smith, he drove
41 points.
Dude,
41.
He
It's
drove
144 behind.
He drove straight into the 45 car
Straight into
without
him.
lifting. I'm like, you're a better driver than this.
I think somebody maybe should not have skipped Xfinity.
I hate to
point.
say it, but
I don't.
man, I'm leaning that way.
You know, before his prime, maybe, I don't know. Second thought: Ryan Preece, yikes,
He had moments
34th
today.
position with 54 points. Did he get a fine?
Yeah.
He got
Yeah, him
penalty,
and the
okay.
10, yeah. But the 10 has kind of made up the difference.
Not really.
Not today.
No, the 10 is in 32nd with 56 points, right behind Harrison Burton, who has not been fined. He just sucks. Along with Austin Duchlin, the whopping 59 points. And has he finished a race? No, he did.
He finished.
He finished
He actually
today.
didn't get into a wreck today, I don't think.
Well, yeah.
He didn't do anything, but I don't think he got in a wreck. Hey, shout out Ty Dillon finished like 26th or 20th on Saturday night too. So.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
I think another notable name would be Chase Elliott. He's rocking 6th place. So is the comeback kid back?
I think it's only a matter of time. I feel like the narrative about him in the first couple of weeks is like, oh, no, he's still slumping. And I guess, if he's not leading or winning, they feel like he is.
Yeah, but I mean,
I
sixth in
Yeah,
points.
to your point and to what those points indicate, yeah, I think he is back. I think he's very quietly been creeping into the top 10, into the top 5. And honestly, it's kind of a breath of fresh air. I'm so used to them like glazing him. And now he's like creeps into the top 3 and no one talks about him that much. So it's like, good. You have to earn your way back to it. I think he's fine. I think he's going to get better. It seems like he is getting better. So
He earned a lot of respect from me because he was basically handed multiple opportunities to throw his crew chief under the bus and take the out that way. And he has kind of stood by Alan Gustafson every time. And I respect that. Like Chase kind of, because he's always been a little bit of a spoiled kid to me. Like not a lot, but like a percentage. And the last couple weeks, I've kind of been removing that banner from him because I've been really impressed with how, he was given these outs to basically destroy everyone around him, and he's like, no, I haven't been doing my job. They're doing their part, and I'm like, all right, I see you, I like you. So Chase is warming back into my heart now.
Oh, well, isn't that very liberal of you? No, I mean,
Vaccinated.
but I do agree with what you're saying. I think I think he's earning his spot, we'll say.
Yeah.
Whereas before it felt like it was, that's Bill Elliott's son. Of course he's going to get on TV.
Are we seeing the rebirth of Chase Elliott is what you're saying?
I don't want to go that far.
Okay. We're just dropping it right there.
Yeah, we're going to leave it at that. My voice is shot, so I apologize for the way I sound. It's been a long weekend.
Well, we had a lot of sprint cars this weekend. If you
Sprint
want,
cars?
I could hit on some sprint car stuff. Should we just start
Tell
with
me
our
the
buddy?
first thing.
Should we start with our buddy?
Did my car win at BAPS? I think I picked Tony Jackson.
No, Tony Jackson did not win. But you know who did win?
Who was that?
I mean, he's not good enough to be on our podcast, but maybe one day he will be. Congratulations, Kenny, our buddy, one of our good friends.
Oh, Kenny won?
Kenny won
Wow.
at the BAPS Motor Speedway Saturday night. Very cool
Season
to see.
opener? I think that's like the third or
opener?
fourth time he's won the season opener.
I was going to say, he's
He's-
got a pretty good track record winning that race.
Yeah, he seems to come. I tell you what, the guy goes prepared.
Oh, yeah.
I talked to him quite a bit, and he's in that race shop. He's not, there's a lot of drivers that are drivers.
Are you talking about Tony Jackson?
No. But
Sorry.
he would
Just
probably
too easy.
he
Low
would
ball.
probably fit the shoe. But Kenny is in there, weekly working on that car. He builds all the bodies
daily.
for him.
Yeah, like every time I drive by that shop, he is parked there.
Yeah. Actually, if you're looking for sprint car work and you need welding done or your body work done, he's actually a pretty good guy to call, so you can give him a call.
Yeah, he does. And he does pretty much everyone from what I know. Because every time I stop in there, he's like, "Oh yeah, I got Brent Marks here," and or whatever.
Yeah, he seems to be his.
He's making the rounds.
He's not doing too bad.
No.
Looking at the owner points, Hendrick Motorsports in first. Gibbs, Penske, Gibbs is on fire this year, guys. I know. These Toyotas are fast.
I hate it.
Fast Yoders.
I hate it. I'm
Man.
sorry. I don't like Joe Gibbs Racing. This is like, when they were 1, 2, 3, 4 today, I was like, someone just wreck
all
them,
day.
please.
All day.
Just somebody wreck them. Please do us a favor.
When they were coming up to lap Cindric, I was like, here's your time to shine, buddy. Just suck it up.
He tried.
He did.
He tried.
He almost wrecked him. I was like over the moon until he hit Brad.
Yeah. Cindric's about to earn his place in our... Oh, never mind. No, he didn't. Never mind.
I would have loved to see another caution come out and see the 5 cars come down.
Dude, you know what would have
the
been
5
so cool?
cars on the lead lap get to pit.
Yeah.
Wide open, no problems.
That's the thing, because then you don't have to worry about tire wear.
Yeah.
And you get stage 1 again. Dude, that would have been... I just assumed it was going to happen.
I could not believe, I think
I don't
that's
know
another
how.
thing to talk about. I can't believe it didn't come out.
Yeah.
Like, there was so many cars everywhere. I think, I couldn't believe it.
So I wonder... All right, I wasn't going to go back into the cup race. We'll do it again. I wonder how many drivers were just like ready to leave, because I did see multiple reports. William Byron and Kyle Busch literally parked their cars, got out of their cars, walked right out the tunnel. They walked by PR people. They walked by media members. They just didn't say a word and left. So, like, I wonder if those drivers got to a point where they were like, let's just freaking log laps and go home.
Well, Byron only did 492 laps. So.
He had a few less to do. He was
No,
victim number 1.
he had a tough day, but honestly, I think a lot of the guys, I know, like, I was listening to Carson Hocevar, and he's just one of them. But I mean, I think this is how it was for a lot of people. It was like, you really were just logging laps. I mean, you were just in survival mode. I know he had said, now, even though when he was up front there, him and Corey LaJoie, like, they were intending to go to the back.
What were they?
They
nailed it. Well, I tell you what, if they're looking to get to the back, I've never seen anybody make it to the back that fast. That's like
was
Carson was
dangerous.
like, he's like, all right, I'm
dangerous.
gonna exit here. Freaking lost Busher like 15 positions.
Dude, he's gonna have to send like a bouquet of fruit or something to RFK, because he lost Busher like 15 spots at that stage.
Easy. Oh, I hate him.
He literally should
Joan
have
Rivers
taken,
looking son of a bitch.
He literally should have just voluntarily went to the back, even though
Why
he
didn't they
take
pit?
Tires.
Why did they not pit?
They were saving a
Because
set of tires.
They were saving a set of tires. They
How'd that
wanted
work?
to wait. Well, it actually worked okay. But
All right,
21st.
He had to,
27th. Yes, it worked great.
David, you have to understand, when Carson Hocevar was caught up in that very first wreck, he flat spotted a fresh set of tires, and so they were down a set of tires. They had to play a game that no one else was really playing. Like, they didn't have that extra set. The only extra set they had to catch up to everyone else was like their scuffs, and that wasn't even really like that usable. So that's why they were extending that set. They were just in survival mode. But I don't want to do PR for Carson. My point is there were a lot of guys that were definitely just like, this is insane. This is a joke. I'm not even going to try. I mean, not try, but I just mean like I know like Carson was just like, there's no point in racing. Now, at first, like you said, he was like, oh my gosh, I'm way faster than these guys.
And then you realize because they were running 30% less throttle.
That was before. Well, no, it was before everyone realized that like the tires were becoming a big issue.
Yeah. No, I think that's what it was. We did notice. So I don't know if you guys got to see this picture. This campground is normally like sold out.
Oh yeah! Wow.
And there's legitimately like 20 campers in the picture.
That's a nice grassy field.
Yeah. So here's my thoughts, and I say it
that
just
is
because
insane,
right?
Like, that is insane.
So Couch Racer posted that from the spotter stand. So I assume it was Freddie.
So There was more cars at Port Royal this weekend.
Dude.
Or more campers.
Yes.
Absolutely.
It was. Now, I think, here's my theory, and because honestly, their attendance in the seats was better than what that race had done previously. Like, the attendance was decent.
It didn't look like it.
I know, but dude, if you see the last time they did Bristol Concrete, it was way worse.
Yeah.
Like, it was bad. So, but I think the issue is, and this is something that they always harp on, NASCAR keeps shortening the weekend. Because we actually talked, I don't know if you and I talked, some of us talked about actually doing this weekend. And we decided not to because the first thing on track is 2 o'clock Saturday afternoon. And the last thing on track is, whatever, Sunday at 6.
Yeah.
So it was like, do you really want to drive all the way to Bristol, haul a camper, set it up, do all that for 24 hours of on-track activity? So it's like, if we want number one example that the race weekends need to be longer,
there it is.
I think we just nailed it, because that's like, so the last time we went to Bristol, this area was sold out and we had to actually get a spot at the campground across the road. And here we could have literally bought a camping pass this morning and been in the front row.
Yeah.
Like that's
insane.
That should throw up some red flags. Anyway, that's my one. I'm rolling through my Twitter feed to have notes of what I wanted to talk about, and I saw that and I was reminded of that. But yeah. So anyway, I'll talk about sprint cars a little bit, since I know you guys don't watch them, and there was a lot of sprint car racing this weekend.
Did Danny Dietrich win?
Danny Dietrich won Saturday night at Lincoln.
What?
Pretty cool. I know. So I'm telling you, Saturday was a great day for racing. Ryan Blaney sits on the pole, fastest in practice.
Bed during the race.
Another edit. I'll write that down. Danny Dietrich wins at Lincoln. And then, of course, Kenny won at BAPS, because I remember last night I texted the group and I was like, guys, I'm buying a lottery ticket. Like, this was clearly a good night.
I remember that.
And yeah, today, obviously not the same results at all. But Danny Dietrich won at Lincoln. We had 2 outlaw races. Brent Marks won the first night, which is pretty cool. Local-ish guy. Can
we call that Kenny's car?
Yeah, because he's with High Limits now, but he is still a PA Posse guy at heart. And then he finished second last night with the Outlaws. Gio Celti won. So great race.
While we're on that subject, what do we think? Do we think Outlaws is on its way out with like the amount of cars that went to High Limit this season? It was a lot.
It was a lot, but I'll tell you what, I think the race fans won, because now we went from one good national series to 2, because honestly, they're both pretty stacked.
Yeah.
Like, the Outlaws lost a lot of guys, but they still have, there's some
where
really
it was
good names
oversaturated
there.
before.
That's what I'm thinking,
Like,
because
when you have 30 good cars and you go to 15 good cars, there's still 15 good cars.
Now, I will say the High Limit drivers have the best track record so far as winning, because I think a High Limit driver has won almost every Outlaw show except for like 1 or 2 this year.
Yeah.
So the odds are not looking good for Outlaws. But I see both series thriving. I think they're both doing really well. And from what I'm seeing, people are showing up to the shows. So I think as much as we make it like a them versus them, I think the race fans honestly are winning. And I could be way off on that. But
No, you're right. I mean, more racing is more racing.
No, exactly. And High Limit is giving us like Tuesday and Thursday night races, which is freaking awesome. So it's like off nights and you get to watch really good sprint cars. So,
I don't think your wife feels that way.
God bless my wife. I don't think she realized the amount of flow racing and dirt vision she was signing up for. She said, I do.
She said, I don't like NASCAR. She thought she didn't like NASCAR. Now she realized it's just racing in general.
Right. She's like, oh, I thought it was just Sundays. And then High Limit came around, and it's like, oh, now it's Mondays sometimes.
First it was,
Tuesdays.
Xfinity on Saturdays. Okay, so that's not that big. It's only
like one extra day.
And then there's Truck Series.
And now it's like, well, Mondays are sometimes free. Oh, and then the guys record podcasts sometimes that night. So scratch that. Yeah, no, my wife is absolutely amazing. But that was good. And then today we had the opener at Williams Grove, and Anthony Macri won best. I mean, he was just the best car today. He did really well. Danny Dietrich finished second. It looked honestly like the Bristol race at the beginning, because they had like,
well, it's a brand new track.
Yeah, and it took them, and they have a new wicker rule on the wing, which is putting a little more into the driver's hand, which I like because I've liked what I've seen so far out of the sprints. And I'm telling you, I bet it took them half an hour to get 4 laps in. I may be exaggerating, and someone can fact check, but it was insane how long the Williams Grove race actually took to watch. So thank you, Dirt Vision. Got to watch NASCAR and Dirt Vision today. I think that's all the sprint cars that we had this weekend. But yeah, so good weekend. Again, shout out to Kenny, our buddy. Shout out to Brent Marks, PA Posse guy, and shout out to Danny Dietrich, my favorite 410 guy. So
yeah, that's exciting stuff. Who won the Xfinity race, Alex?
Nobody, because Xfinity
I'm sorry, the
was not
truck
there.
race, Alex.
Christian Eckes won the race.
Christian Eckes.
Yeah, and so here's the shame is we had a legitimate old school, like no fancy things to make it happen, 3-way battle for the win going with like 20 laps to go, and Stuart Friesen cleared himself when the 2 truck was there, caused a pile up, and then they re-racked him, and it just never came back because we had Christian Eckes, Kyle Busch, and Matt Crafton decided to enter the chat of like potentially winning a race again. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing.
Yeah.
And it was so much fun because they're literally like flying through lap traffic.
I saw the end of it and I was like, wow, this is insane.
And it was like, I'm literally sitting on the edge of the couch like, oh my gosh, this is going to be an amazing finish. And then we get a caution. And then the problem is you still fresh air is an advantage. Mm-hmm. So they had a restart with no lap traffic in front of them. And the 19 was just gone.
Gone, yeah.
And the 8, the 8, sorry.
The 7?
The 7. It's force of habit. Kyle Busch in the 7 did actually make it close at the end, but still, I feel like we were robbed of a potentially like amazing Truck Series finish. And it was still good. It's just, I feel like it could have been better.
So one thing that's kind of nice, but kind of not like, so Spire using that 7 car as a cup ride, basically. Like, they're just
it's like
putting
their
these
all-star car.
Like they're putting these killer drivers in. So I wonder what the average finish of that 7 cars. It's got to be like 4th.
Oh, honestly, like Corey got in a wreck in Daytona, and that's probably the worst that truck's finished.
Which is normal for Corey to have the worst performance.
I knew you were
good.
I'm sorry, Corey, because it was not Corey's fault. He got Raja'd, actually.
It's always never his fault.
I know.
But every time he's in the limelight, he doesn't perform.
Yeah, I can't blame him for that one.
Which is something I think we should talk about here for a second, since Mitch isn't here to be upset. I just think that the bus is leaving for him. I think he's had...
I'm not willing to write that check yet.
Well,
I'm not there
here's
yet.
the thing is, it's always been, well, he's waiting for this, or he's going to get his chance. Well, he's gotten his chance. Atlanta, where he's supposed to be good at.
Yeah, they never had it. They never had it at Atlanta.
They never had it. No. And I don't know, like, it. To me, I don't want to sound like Nolan here, but, I mean, Hocevar has been relevant every week.
Yeah, I will say, though.
Every week.
I do think when we get to the end of the season, Corey LaJoie is going to be higher in points than Hocevar. And I know that's probably a hot take. I know you don't, but...
I think by the end of the year, we're going to have conversations that Hocevar is better than Bowman, but that's just me.
Well, that's a whole whole other conversation.
Wait,
with
hold
Bowman.
on a second. Time out. Showman Bowman? Yep. The 48 car?
He did finish 4th today, I guess. Credit,
Man, you must be drinking some kind of Kool-Aid down there in Florida. What are they doing, buddy? Do they legalize stuff down there?
Yep.
How far south did you go? Did you get some good stuff?
Oh my gosh.
I'm on that watermelon juice, buddy.
Oh, that watermelon juice, yes. For the record, we'll point out the fact that Corey is still ahead of Carson Hocevar. Because Carson is still a rookie who can't actually finish a race.
And that's the big thing. So the more we go to these tracks where it's harder to drive and you have to manage, I think is where we're going to see the rookie.
He is putting himself out there too much probably. And so Corey's probably a little gun shy. But I don't know. I think he's having a worse year technically, but in the eyes of the public and the eyes of the people who matter, I think Corey is on a timeline.
I think Corey needs to either win or put the car in the playoffs this year.
Yeah.
I really do. And because I think you're right. Now, like we talked about before, he has to relearn how to drive because now he's actually in go mode for the first time in his career. But you're right. I think there is a degree of pressure on him. And we talked about it before, Nolan, but I think that's very much valid.
I'll make one valid point about this week in particular with him. You know, his finishing position was obviously garbage this week, and it was bad. But actually, if you go back to the fall Bristol race last year in the 42, he was running in the top 5 and would have had a top 5 if he didn't have a loose wheel, and he still finished like 12th or something. Yeah. But you know, I was actually looking forward to this race because I was like, this is one of those few races he ran last year after he filled in for Gregson. And I was like, okay, we've seen him here, and I know he's good. So I was so looking forward to a repeat of the fall race last year. I mean, I was just so ready to like see an improvement even. And because of the total difference in racing product, I didn't get to see that. And so now I'm just sitting here like, okay, let me just wait till another oval
So that's why you're so pessimistic. It all just wraps around the fact that you didn't get to see your girlfriend Carson do what you wanted him to do. Although I think he did. Like, even with that mess, I mean, he was relevant until he wasn't. I mean, I've never seen anybody go to the back of the pack as quickly as he did.
That's not my girlfriend. That would be Michael Waltrip's girlfriend. So clear that up.
Actually, that's not a lie, because didn't Ross do that? Like, last year, he like started. Remember that he restarted like 11th, and then like 3 laps later, he was like 42nd. I'm trying to remember. I think it was
Hocevar did that in the truck race. Remember?
Oh, it was Hocevar.
Yeah,
it was him again. So he's got the fastest 2 trips to the back of this of record.
I pride myself in that. A win's a win.
The emotional implosion.
When it being the slowest.
Yeah.
Where is
Carson has a great career. I think there's still a lot for him to learn, and the biggest thing I'm afraid of is he's going to start getting into beefs with drivers, and that's where I feel like it's going to get interesting.
For it.
Yeah,
I'm excited for it because I think it's all the things that makes him a good driver. I think it's, you know, his aggression, and that's what makes him a good driver. That's what made him suck in qualifying. Same thing with Ross. They literally finished on the back row or started on the back row because they were too aggressive in qualifying. I was just like, this is so poetic.
Yeah.
I think there's a different rookie we should be talking about, and that's the 42 car, who has crept his way into a lot of top 10s, at least recently. And John Hunter Nemechek, I know we don't like it, but the truth is he's actually flashed a lot of potential, possibly even more than Carson Hocevar. I think him and Gregson have showed a lot of potential. I know Gregson's not a rookie, but in terms of young drivers, we've seen Gregson and we've talked about him, but I think the 42 car is actually starting to make a little bit of impression.
I think the 42 car has just gotten ridiculously lucky as far as...
That's kind of where I'm at, too.
Or not even lucky, but he hasn't been unlucky. Whereas Gregson has been horribly unlucky this year. I guess I can almost say something with that. Since you said it, I'm just going to also point this out often, too. Carson Hocevar, 24th in points. Alex Bowman, 12th. So... just to go off your prediction, we'll watch it throughout the year and see if he somehow... Yeah. If he outruns the Hendrick car, I'll probably give you $100.
It'll be big to see.
I got a $100 bill in my pocket right now you can have if he does it.
It'll be big to see what that 48 does this year, because I feel like we all expected a little bit of an explosion by now, and it just hasn't... Like, he finished 4th today, but... Yeah. Like, it just
he didn't seem happy
yet.
He was not
happy. Hard to tell. It was hard to read that because
he was kind of like, I think he wasn't happy.
There was a part of him that looked happy though. I could have gone either way, honestly. It was weird.
Well, he got 4th. He's happy about that.
I think every driver is confused on what they just did.
And they were like, the frick was that? I think they interviewed every driver that was on the lead lap. How crazy is that? All 5 of them.
All 5 of them.
Literally, yes. That's exactly what happened.
Yeah, that was absolutely nuts. So was there anything else?
Hey, can I point out?
Yeah.
I want to point out one more thing. I was looking at the points and I just realized there's only one Ford in the top 12.
I mean, I did I send you guys the meme that NASCAR memes made where it was like it was every manufacturer trying to prove which one was better, and it was the Office meme where they're all like pointing finger guns at each other, and it was like Toyota logo, Chevy logo, 12.
I did see that.
Literally. I mean, that makes sense. I didn't see that, but that's literally okay. So you know about it then. I didn't realize it. I didn't realize it until David talked about how good Toyotas are, and of course we had to talk about that. And then I was like, well, let me look at the points. And sure enough, I was like, wait a minute, like,
oh yeah,
I knew Brad was a good Ford, but like he is the second best Ford by points. But guess what? He's in 13th. So I was just like, whoa, that's crazy.
Yeah.
So,
the crazy part is, like, I'm looking like an idiot because my prediction at the beginning of the season was that Chevys were going to start out strong just because they had data. And I'm like, man, the Chevys are really going to take off. But I thought by the second half of the season, Toyota and Ford were going to be dominant just because of the advantage. What do we say now? Because Toyotas are already kind of the dominant.
They're fast.
Like, so now it's like, holy frick, is this going to be a freaking Joe Gibbs season, like, all year?
It wouldn't surprise me.
I'm gonna have to.
I will say this. I will say this about
NASCAR.
Blaney. This is the best I've seen Blaney start a year. I mean, I think this is the
I agree
most
completely.
He seems to be on fire. Yeah.
I don't want to call him dominant. He's not dominant, but he's like clearly the best Ford out there, and he's with the Toyotas every week. He's constantly in the top 3, top 4, running up front. So,
and the shame is if you take away one bad adjustment today, he probably finishes top 5 because he got back to 15th after being, what was he, 29th, 4 laps down, and he got back up. So it's like, that's what even sucks too, is like today totally could have been another top 5.
But even that right there, like the fact that cars, like I love that he put tire, like when, how many laps down was Josh Berry?
Dude. That 4 car was in every position on the pylon today at one point.
It was
I guarantee
crazy.
It.
He was. I thought they said he was 4 laps down. I could be wrong.
I think you're right.
I think
That's
he was
what's crazy.
4 laps down and unlapped himself.
Yeah,
What?
guys, we did not use the phrase aerotight today.
No.
It's beautiful. That was the best part of the day, honestly.
Yeah. No, the best part of the day was when Austin Cindric wrecked.
Brad Keselowski?
Well, not that part. The other one he wrecked.
He tried. He gave it a good college effort.
Oh, God, I hate that guy.
Instead of having aerotight this race, we had I'm on the freaking cords tight.
Yeah, right. The tires is
Slow
gone.
down.
Yeah, that was really interesting.
Who picked Denny to win this week?
Was it me?
I think it was.
I think I did.
I forgot to do a pick video this week, so honestly, I don't remember.
I forget. I thought I said I know I said Raja for trucks, which whatever.
It was either you or Mitch. One of you two, I remember berating you.
Oh, I think it was Mitch because I remember I said I couldn't do it, and he was like, "I'll take him." It was one of you two. I don't remember.
I'm sorry, Mitch. I didn't mean to take credit for your pick if you're listening. So all right, we'll give it to Mitch.
It was one of you guys because I couldn't do it. So.
Well,
yeah.
Anyway. With that chaos behind us, we look forward to Circuit of the Americas. Who's your pick, and why am I picking SVG?
That's true. This is his cup.
Would you like to know
season,
why
right?
I'm picking SVG?
Why are you picking SVG?
Because he's the best road course driver on the track.
I mean, there's that.
Is he?
Absolutely. That's not even a question.
I think AJ Allmendinger has something to say about that.
Is that your pick?
It's going to be hard not to pick him or Tyler Reddick. I think I'm going to go with Allmendinger.
Okay. There's so many. I'm debating taking that back and going out on a limb. Not really, but kind of. And I'm going to go against everything I believe in.
Please don't. I know what you're thinking. Don't do it. I don't know why it stopped recording.
So I'm debating taking that back because I might go out on a limb here.
Uh-oh. I don't like where you're going with this. This is like almost rehearsed.
Groundhog Day?
But I think I'm going to go with...
It's Coda Day again.
I think I'm going to go with Tyler Reddick.
You suck. You know who I think's going to win. You know who I think's going to pull it off.
He's going to pull it off.
I think Chase Elliott, man. Because he's going to say, listen, Silver Spoon what? Silver Spoon what?
Yeah, exactly. That's what I would say.
Is that really something he would say?
Is that? I think
Apparently.
it is. For the viewers at home listening to this not live, We already said all this, but because Alex is the best engineer in the world, we weren't recording.
I just stopped.
I'm just glad. Actually, I'm going to give you props because you did catch it like 2 minutes after it.
Yeah. And I picked
was
Tyler
awesome.
Rabbit.
I was really worried when you said we're not recording. I was like, oh no.
Guess we're not gonna have an episode this week, boys, because I ain't doing this again.
How far back was it? Because I gotta go
I was scared
home.
it was my fault because I was doing something different with the video.
You're good.
And stuff.
Nah, it wasn't you, Pinocchio.
Pinocchio.
and your 4 frames per second.
Yeah, well, you look like you're wooden sometimes the way it moves.
Yeah. You know what it is? Every time I switch to his camera, it must be brighter on your screen and it washes out the camera. Because, like, right now you look good, but as soon as I switch to you, watch it. It washes out more.
like,
It does wash him out.
And what says off,
it looks really
on.
good.
Oh my gosh, I do
off,
see it.
on,
I'm looking
off,
at no,
on,
if I look-
off, on.
Oh, Steve's rewarded.
Oh, yeah, because you can see the
So we got
multi-view.
like 16
I
monitors
adjusted
around
it.
here.
We do.
I adjusted
on
it
this
for
one, I have
having you
one
guys
here.
full screen.
Well, this one, I like this one. I can see all the camera angles.
I know, right? It's
Wow.
fancy.
Why does it say
Yeah.
off, Alex?
That's something. That's a stream
Oh,
thingy.
okay.
We're not streaming. Thank God.
Thank God.
Someone already cursed twice.
Welcome to the live stream. Hit the like button. Subscribe.
Smash that like
Share it to
button.
your friends. Thank you for the donation.
You can find the Racing Addicts podcast on all your major social media
Yes,
networks.
you can.
Check us out on TikTok.
TikTok.
Check us
YouTube.
out on YouTube live on the YouTube. We're on Facebook. We're on the line.
We have like 4 followers on Facebook.
Facebook
too.
is not the best.
sucks.
It's the only one I'm on.
It's literally you. You like the
Me and
video every
Kevin.
week. Yeah.
Shout out, Kevin.
Thank you,
Shout out, Kevin.
We love you. Kevin, we love you.
I don't even know if I can make my voice. Yeah.
I don't think so, Alex.
I don't think I can make it as low as Kevin. It's either
Dude,
the
his
devil.
voice. His voice is great. You need to get him back on the pod. He can take my
know.
seat.
Oh, yeah.
Although I was thinking about coming in this weekend and moving stuff.
I know. Because now it's just 2 of
Just
us.
the two of us again.
Slash when Kevin
I can
joins.
rotate my desk back to where it belongs.
Yeah. I think we might get rid of that desk
Get rid of
altogether.
that desk.
Yeah. I like it. Sorry. We're talking about things that
Breaking
no one
news.
else cares about.
Breaking news. We might have a new studio set up next week. Never know.
Man. It's been a little over a year. We've been in this setup for quite a while.
Yeah.
So the time is now. The time is now.
I'm in a new setup, so
You are.
Yeah. In
Florida,
Florida.
man.
What's the weather down there
anything is
today?
possible. It was like 80 and pretty humid. Nice. It was good. It was comfortable.
Wow.
Yeah, I was. It's funny. I don't check the weather on my phone very often because I just don't care. And I was going to get my truck decaled, and they wanted it to be a certain temperature, so I flip up my phone on the weather app, and I'm like, "Oh my gosh! Like it's going to be like 78 this week." It was still set to Daytona.
Oh.
Oh, rough.
Oh, it was so depressing.
Ugh.
It was still nice. Like it's been beautiful this weekend.
It's been not bad. Yeah.
Not bad. What are you
blue sky
looking
is
for?
nice.
It's March.
I know.
Last Sunday, it was blizzarding.
yeah.
So,
It was, but this past week has been gorgeous.
Thursday was amazing.
Oh, Thursday
That
was
was like, chef's kiss.
If you're in the central Pennsylvania area, this is the time of year to be alive.
yeah, it's just like
You're not
peak.
sweating yet. With the
Yep.
sun, you still feel the heat off it.
Speaking of Pennsylvania in this time of the year, we have 2 birthdays this week in the podcast. I
Is
just
it
remembered that. It's
It's this week
I
already?
I saw the little thingy on my computer and it reminded me.
Oh wow.
We have a Mitchell Mumo birthday
Uh-huh.
and me.
And Alex.
Yeah.
hey,
35?
34.
34. Wow.
Might as well be 35. Good Lord. I'm like 1,000 years old now.
well, happy birthday to you both.
Hey, happy birthday.
Thanks. Appreciate
When,
it.
What
Yeah.
day is that? This week.
Wednesday.
Oh.
And then Mitch's crap. I can't remember if Mitch is one day before. I think it's one day before me.
It's one day after.
Okay, so he's Thursday.
Yeah.
So, Mitch, hopefully you're listening. Happy early birthday, buddy. We're going to go over to Mitch's and watch on his 42-inch TV for his birthday.
I think 42 inches is being a little generous. I was just over there. I was just in his house last week.
that's right.
And I
Yeah,
was
you
looking
were.
at his TV and I was like, I was sitting there thinking to myself, I think my computer monitor is bigger than that.
Honestly,
It's like,
that might be bigger.
no, it's about that size.
Okay. But, so for those listening,
27 inches.
We went to a Super Bowl party at Mitch's house when the Bengals won the Super Bowl, which was a big moment. I mean, you got to celebrate these moments. He's a lifelong Bengals fan. and
They lost.
They did lose. I think my MacBook would have provided a better image quality than what we were looking.
Don't make fun of Mitch's little television.
I think we come together, and when we get our first sponsor, we should buy Mitch a new TV.
I tell you one thing. I have 12 televisions in my house. All of them are bigger than his.
Mine too. Exactly. My old plasma TV in the bedroom is a 46-inch TV, so it's bigger than Mitch's TV. So, not that it's all about size.
It's not about size. Girth is important.
Girth. A very wide pit road.
Oh, very wide pit road.
Very wide pit road.
So, I think we've mumbled and rumbled and babbled enough.
Yes, we have.
To get to our time requirements from our yearly sponsors. Thank you for reaching out. And we'll be back next week to recap CODA.
Holla. Gonna be good.
Hopefully there is some action. Hopefully Ross Chastain wrecks a few people. And
stay away from the 12. Please stay away from the 12.
Just ask yourself, what would Dale do?
It's not looking good for you, buddy.
The magnet is in effect, my friend.
Also, I want to point out Brad didn't wreck anybody this week either.
It's been a good couple weeks for Brad. Yeah. Very
2
good.
weeks.
Well, it's not a super speedway, so
That's true.
Give it a few.
Did you guys see
there's no trial of Bristol.
Did you see the video that he posted? I don't know where he posted. I think I sent it to you.
That Brad posted?
Yeah,
if I saw
or
that.
RFK, one of the two. It was his daughter.
RFK's content is fantastic, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, Elijah. I think
No,
it's
Brad
Elijah
posted
Burke
it.
runs that. Okay.
So
Really
it's
good.
his daughter.
Oh, yeah. I saw that. I did see that.
Boom. Bump and run, baby. Looks like it runs in the family.
Teach him early.
Plowman 6.
That's right. Get that snow plow on the front of that there Tonka truck.
Any last words, Nolan?
Yeah, I'll just say one thing. I think between this race and I know we talked about the camping being bad and stuff like that, not a lot of people in the stands, but I will say I think that this was definitely a positive race for all the new viewers coming in from Netflix, and I think Circuit of the Americas is going to be even better because it's crazy, especially the restarts there. So I'm so looking forward to that, and really that's my only thoughts. I'm excited.
Agreed. And CODA will be on the short track package, FYI.
Ooh,
So,
nice.
Yeah.
Wonder what would happen if Bristol was on the short track package.
I don't even get me started on that rant because yes.
Was that the problem?
I mean, if we had the short track package and more motor, we wouldn't have had resin, and then potentially wouldn't have had. But anyway, it was a good day. I'm just saying.
1,000 horsepower. That's the
1,000
solution.
horsepower.
No matter what the,
1,000
no matter what the
horsepower.
problem is.
Please,
If Rick Hendrick can have it in his car, why can't we have it in ours?
dude. I'm telling you, bigger motors to some degree are right around the corner. They're getting way too much heat. That's my final thought. Bigger motors are coming. I don't think we're going to get what we want, but I think we're going to at least get 750 or 800. Final thoughts. Because they're under a lot of heat right now. So
It seems to
gonna
be
happen.
higher than normal.
Yeah.
All right.
So
Well, that wraps up the episode. Thank you so much for tuning in. Once again, you can check us out on all the social media platforms, Racing Addicts Podcast, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram. Are we on
YouTube?
X?
kind of. I'm on X. Not really. Not officially, though.
Not officially.
But YouTube, we are having more and more. Yes.
YouTube, full episodes.
Full episodes on
If
the
you have
YouTubes.
been listening to us and want to know what we look like and how stupid we are whenever there isn't good dialogue, check us out on YouTube.
Yeah, you get the full perspective.
I apologize.
I literally look as slow as I am
He's pretty slow.
Yeah.
with my 2 frames.
He's got a couple extra chromosomes.
He's on that Bristol tire wear right there.
I have more chromosomes than frames.
Oh, my gosh.
Have a good week.
Holla!
Peace.